Morning, friends. Welcome back to Module 8, Part 2 of our lecture series on Principles of Management. With me, Professor Dr. D.V. Murthy, PhD Management, brought to you by our channel, B School, Dr. D.V. Murthy, PhD Official, an initiative of Ramadevi Foundation, Hyderabad. In the previous Part 1, we explored the foundation of organizing, the process, formal and informal structures, and how real-world organizations like Infosys and Google use these frameworks effectively. In this second part, we take our understanding deeper by diving into 4 critical elements that define how modern organizations operate. Those are departmentation, how work is divided; span of control, how many people a manager can effectively lead; delegation, how authority is based and is passed on; decentralization, how decisions are distributed across the hierarchy management. We will bring these concepts to the life with practical examples and case studies from companies like Amazon India and Hindustan Unilever, showing how organizing decisions impact performance, flexibility, and growth. So get ready to sharpen your management insights and develop a strategic eye for organizational design. Let's begin part 2 of organizing in management. What this part covers? It covers 1. Departmentation, meaning, types, and applications. 2. Span of control, concept, wide versus narrow span of control. 3rd is delegation of authority, the process and elements. 4. Departmentalization, meaning, benefits, decentralization versus delegation. And 5. Real-life business examples and case studies. The learning objectives of this module would be: by the end of this session, learners will be able to 1. Understand various types of departmentation and their strategic implications. 2nd, differentiate between wide and narrow span of control and when to use each. 3rd, explain delegation, its components, and how to use it effectively. And 4, distinguish between delegation of authority and decentralization with real-world illustrations. Let's dive in. Departmentation. What's its meaning? It is the process of dividing an organization into different departments for efficient functioning. This enables specialization, accountability, and coordination. Each department is headed by a functional expert. Let's look at types of departmentation. 1. Functional departmentation by business functions. Example, marketing, finance, HR, etc. 2nd, product-based departmentation based on product lines. For example, Samsung TVs, phones, refrigerators, etc. 3rd is geographical departmentation by region. Example, North Zone, South Zone, East Zone, etc. 4th, customer-based departmentation based on client types. For example, corporate versus retail banking. And 5th, process-based departmentation based on production processes. For example, design, assembly, quality testing, etc. Let's look at a case study of Amazon India. The context: Amazon scale requires effective structuring for service excellence. It uses functional departmentation like marketing, logistics, technology, etc. And it uses geographical departmentation, fulfillment centers, region-wise. And what is the outcome here? The fastest delivery, regional product selection, and seamless service. The lesson to be learned here is effective departmentation is equal to efficient operations plus customer satisfaction. Next point is about span of control, the concept. It refers to the number of subordinates a manager can directly supervise. There are two types. One is wide span, fewer managerial levels, and it encourages autonomy, and it is suitable for startups and small concerns. Second one is a narrow span, more managerial levels, and it allows close supervision, and it's mostly suitable for large factories, complex environments, etc. Let's take an example, real life example on this span of control and how it is administered. First one is a startup example. A tech founder manages a team of 10 directly. It's called wide span, fastest decisions made possible. Second example is manufacturing site. A factory line manager supervises 4 machine operators, narrow span it is called, and it's a detailed control. The insight here would be choose span based on complexity and need for supervision. Next comes the concept of delegation. What is delegation? It is the process by which a manager assigns responsibility and authority to subordinates to complete specific tasks. What are the benefits? One, it saves managerial time. Second, it empowers employees. And the third, it builds skills and trust. Elements of delegation. One is responsibility, duty to be assigned. Second is authority, power to make decisions. Third is accountability, obligation to complete the task and be answerable for results. Let's take an example of delegation. A sales manager delegates territory follow-up to a junior executive. Executive has responsibility for targets, authority to negotiate, and is accountable for results. The manager remains ultimately answerable but focuses on strategy. So the lesson here would be effective delegation is equal to productivity plus leadership development. Next concept is on decentralization. What decentralization means? It is a systematic delegation of decision-making authority to lower levels of management. The key points here: one, it's not just task delegation. It includes autonomy in decisions. And third, it encourages local responses and speed. What are the benefits of decentralization? One, it's faster decision making, and it is greater flexibility and innovation, and it reduced burden on top managers. And of course, it is development of middle management leadership. Let's take a case study on decentralization, a case of Hindustan Unilever Limited. The context: HUL operates across diverse Indian regions. Marketing decisions are decentralized to regional teams. Teams tweak campaigns to suit local cultures, languages, and festivals. Result is higher customer engagement and brand relevance. So the insight here is decentralization builds responsiveness and agility. So let's take a quick look at the differentiation between delegation and decentralization. Look at this table. The first column is about criteria based on which we differentiate between delegation and decentralization. Second column is on delegation and third column is on decentralization. Let's take a look at this table in detail. 1. Criteria of the nature. Delegation is individual task assignment and decentralization is organization-wise authority distribution. The second criteria, when we take scope, delegation is narrow, decentralization is broad. The third criteria, if you take duration, delegation is often temporary, decentralization usually permanent. The fourth criteria on accountability, delegation is to immediate manager, decentralization across levels. The fifth criteria is take an example of delegation, team leader to member, decentralization, corporate headquarters to regional units. So the key takeaways and learnings from this module: departmentation structures help manage specialization. Span of control should fit the nature of the work in the organization. Delegation empowers individuals, decentralization empowers the entire organization. Real-world success depends on small application of all four elements. Congratulations on completing part 2 of the module 8, Organizing in Management. We hope the case studies and examples help solidify your understanding on how organizing impacts performance. In our next module, we will explore staffing and human resource management, where we dive into recruitment, training, and building effective teams. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enriching content. See you in the next module. Thank you and good luck.